Welcome to another video tutorial for driverguide.com. Now today I'll be showing you how to install drivers on a PC running Windows 11. Now Windows 11 is still in beta, so most manufacturers have not yet released drivers specifically designed for Windows 11, and you'll notice that during the tutorial today, but the process is basically the same and should work out just fine. Now, typically, whenever a new version of Windows is released, there's a few differences in the look and feel and maybe where you find certain things within Windows. And that certainly is the case for Windows 11, and I'll point out some of those differences as we go through this video. To start off with, I have a driver that I downloaded from driverguide.com. Now, this is a Canon Image Runner printer driver. And if I scroll down a little bit here, I'll show you this is the file that I downloaded. This happens to be an executable file, and there happens to be a couple of different file types that are common when it comes to installing drivers. One of those is an executable, and another one could be an INF file. And I'll show you both of those types as we go through this video and kind of show you the differences on how those are installed. So let me just minimize my Edge window, and I'm going to go to where I have that file downloaded. Now right now you'll see one of the differences with Windows 11. My File Explorer icon or shortcut is located here in the center part of the taskbar, just as all these other icons are in the Start menu as well. It's all located in the center of the taskbar as opposed to over on the left where we're used to seeing them in previous versions of Windows. So that's one of the major changes with Windows 11. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the File Explorer icon, and this is the Windows Explorer. I'm going to go to my Downloads folder, and here is where I save that executable file. So I'm just going to go ahead and double click that, and it's asking me to extract some files. I'm going to go ahead and just take the default location for extracting those files, click on extract, and it creates a folder right there. So let me go into that folder, and I'm looking for a setup.exe file, which is right there. That's my executable that I want to run, so I'm just going to double click that to run it and say yes to confirm that I want to run this program. Let me minimize the Explorer window in the background. Now here on the welcome screen, I'm just going to click next. I'm going to agree to the license agreement, and then on this option screen, just going to click next. Here it's asking me to set a port for my printer. I'm just going to pick LPT1 and leave all the other defaults. In this case, click next and then start. And so now that executable program is installing the drivers onto my PC. All right, and once the driver installation completes, I'll get a screen here telling me that it is complete, and I can just simply click on exit. And that is it for installing a driver using a executable file. Now the other file type that I mentioned is an INF file, and that can be useful if you're ever wanting to update your driver, say directly from within Device Manager. So let me go ahead and open Device Manager, and in Windows 11, there's a couple of different ways to get to it. One of the easier ways is just to simply right-click on the Start button and pick Device Manager right there. So there's our Device Manager window, which is really, this is just a listing of all the different hardware devices we have in our system. And let's say, for example, I've got a network adapter. Maybe it's not working properly, or maybe I just know that there's a newer driver available for it that I want to update. So if I select that adapter and right-click on it, pick Update Driver. Now I have a couple of different options. One of them is to search automatically for drivers, and what this will do is it'll go out online, it'll search for any drivers that the manufacturer has made available online for that device, and it'll look for the appropriate driver, download and install it. Now the other option it gives me is to browse my local computer for any drivers that I may have saved on my computer. I'm going to choose that option because I have downloaded an INF file from driverguide.com and I've saved it on my computer. So when I pick that option, it gives me the choice here where I can browse and search for the driver on my computer. I'm going to find the folder where I downloaded it, which was under my C temp, and then this folder right here that you see that I drilled all the way down to drivers and click OK. Now when I click next here, it's going to search in that folder for the appropriate driver, and once it finds it, it'll install that driver. The other option I have here is to, if I want to be real specific and if I know exactly the file that I want to use, I can choose this option where it says let me pick from a list of available drivers on my computer. So let me click on that one, and there's two things that we can do here. One is that it'll show us the drivers that I already have installed, and maybe I want to pick one of those that I already have. Maybe I'm just trying to reinstall the driver or pick something that might be newer. And so I can select that and I can click next and go continue through the process. However, I also have this option where it says have disk. So let's say I have a specific INF file that I've downloaded that I know for sure I want to use, and I want to basically force the system to use that driver instead of looking for what it thinks is the best driver for my system. So in this case, I can click Browse, and I can once again drill down to where I saved that INF file, and you can see it listed right there. So I'm going to highlight it, click on Open, and now it's selected in this path, so I'm just going to click OK. Now I do get a message, as I mentioned earlier, since the driver is not specifically designed for Windows 11, I do get this error and it doesn't let me continue. However, if I had an appropriate driver that was designed and written for Windows 11, then that would have allowed me to select that driver and install it using this process. So that right there is how you can install a driver using an INF file and also using an executable file on the new Windows 11 operating system. Thanks for watching.